Hello champions, welcome back to Learn with Israel, the home of smart learning where we don't just study, we learn, practice and pass. In today's episode, JAMB biology likely question 81 to 100. I am bringing you clear explanations, fun memory tricks and guaranteed confidence booster. So grab your pen, grab your brain and let's break these questions like pros. Are you ready? Let's go. Question 81. Fishes use dash for detection of vibration. Fishes use dash for detection of vibration. A. Lateral line. B. Streamline. C. Air sacs. D. Gills. So what's Gills? Gills is used for breathing, not for detecting. While air sacs, it helps for buoyancy. Air sacs help for buoyancy. Option B, which is streamline, is used for smooth movement. Why? Option A is the correct answer. Lateral line. Lateral line helps fish to detect movement and vibration in water. It detects movement. So option A is the correct answer. Fishes use lateral line for detection of vibration. Question 82. The shrinkage of cytoplasmic lining from the cell wall is called dash. The shrinkage of cytoplasmic lining from the cell wall is called dash. A. Turgid. B. Plasmolysis. C. Hemolysis. D. Isotonic. So isotonic is equal movement. Isotonic means equal movement. So isotonic is wrong. Hemolysis is the destruction of red blood cell destructions, while plasmolysis is the correct answer. It happens when water leaves the cell. So the shrinkage of cytoplasmic lining from the cell wall is called plasmolysis. Why turgid means when cell is swollen or full of water. So plasmolysis is the correct answer. So let's continue. Question 83. Example of fluid feeders animals include dash except. Example of fluid feeders animals include dash except. A. Aphid. B. Butterfly. C. Goat. D. Sunbird. So sunbird feed on nectars. So which means sunbird are example of fluid feeders. Goat does not feed on nectar. Goat does not feed. Goat chew solid plant material. Why butterfly also feed on nectar? So butterfly is an example of fluid feeder. Why aphid feed on cell sap? So aphid feed on cell sap. So aphid is also example of fluid feeder. So aphid, butterfly and sunbird are all example of fluid feeders. So the animal that is not a fluid feeder here is goat, which makes option C the correct answer. Let's continue. Question 84. The tissue where growth takes place in plant is dash. A. Apical. B. Meristematic tissue. C. Auxiliary tissue. D. Bud. So let's start from bud. Bud contains meristematic tissue but not actual tissue where growth takes place. So option D is wrong. Auxiliary tissue does not exist. There's nothing like auxiliary tissue. So auxiliary tissue is tricky option. So you need to avoid this kind of option when picking option during your exam. Meristematic tissue is the correct answer. It's the one responsible for plant growth. The tissue where growth takes place in plant is meristematic tissue, while apical is only a location but not a tissue. So the correct answer is option B, meristematic tissue. So let's continue. Question 85. The resting stage of the cells is called dash. A. Interphase. B. Telophase. C. Metaphase. D. Anaphase. So anaphase is where chromosome divide or go apart. It's where chromosome divides. While metaphase is where chromosome aligns together or attach. That is where chromosome align or attach. While anaphase is where it divide. While telophase, it is the ending phase. Telophase is the ending phase of mitosis. Ending phase of mitosis, which is also wrong. The correct answer is interphase. Interphase is the resting stage of the cell. It's the phase between cell division where cell growth rests and grows. Question 86. The vegetative propagation method in which the bark of a branch is peeled off with a knife is called dash. A. Peeling. B. Cutting. C. Layering. D. Marcotting. So let's start from marcotting. Marcotting is the correct answer. Marcotting bark is when the bark is peeled and when rooting occurs, while layering is only a branch bent into the soil, while cutting is a part of the plant part that is cut, while peeling is not a propagation method. Peeling is not a propagation method. So the correct answer is marcotting. So guys, let's continue. Question 87. The male gamete produced in testes by meiotic cell division is called dash. A. Spermatogenesis. B. Oogenesis. C. Gametogenesis. D. Spermatozoa. So let's start from spermatozoa. Spermatozoa is a mature sperm cell. So spermatozoa is wrong. Gametogenesis is a general term for oogenesis and spermatogenesis. That's gametogenesis, which is also wrong. It's not the male gamete produced in testes. While oogenesis is the formation of female gametes. The correct answer is spermatogenesis. Is where sperm cell is produced, and it is the male gamete produced in testes by meiotic cell division called spermatogenesis. Let's continue. Question 88. Dash is a small rod of bone joining sternum to scapula. A. Pelvic girdle. B. Carpal. C. Metacarpal. D. Clavicle. So let's eliminate the option. The correct answer is clavicle. Clavicle is also known as the collarbone, which is a small rod of bone joining the sternum to scapula. So while metacarpal is the palm bone. As you can see, it is the palm bone. While carpal is the wrist bone. So that's the difference between metacarpal and carpal. While pelvic girdle supports lower limbs. It supports lower limbs. And it's below after your abdomen. That's where pelvic girdle is located. So the correct answer for question 88 is clavicle. So let's continue. Question 89. The food transport from site of production to plant tissue is called dash. A. Transpiration. B. Translocation. C. Guttation. D. Absorption. So let's eliminate the option. Absorption is the food uptake from the soil. While guttation is the water droplets from leaf tips. Translocation is the correct answer. Translocation is the movement of food. So the food transport from site of production to plant tissue is called translocation. While transpiration is loss of water. So you that is watching this video, try to learn the difference between transpiration and translocation. so you won't be confused when you see the terminology. And if you have not subscribed to Learn with Israel YouTube channel, use this medium to subscribe now. So guys, let's continue. Question 90. Question 90. But before we continue, don't forget to like this video, share and subscribe to Learn with Israel YouTube channel. So question 90. The loss of water in plants can be through the following except dash. A. Stomata, B. lenticel, B. C. cuticle, D. roots. So let's start from roots. Roots does not allow loss of water. Roots are water takers. They conduct water. While cuticle is a waxy layer covering the leaf. Lenticel are small pores located on the stem. So lenticel is located on the stem, while stomata is located on the side of the leaves. It also serves as gaseous exchange. Stomata and lenticel serve as gaseous exchange, but they are located in different places. Stomata is located in the leaves, while lenticel is located in the stem. So the loss of water in plants can be through the following, which is stomata, lenticel and cuticle, except root. So root is the correct answer. So let's continue. Question 91. Dash is used for measuring the rate of transpiration. Dash is used for measuring the rate of transpiration. A. Hydrometer, B. Pottometer, C. oxygen, D. hygrometer. So hygrometer measures humidity. Hygrometer measures humidity. While oxygen is just a plant hormone. Oxygen, so option C and option D is wrong. Oxygen is just a plant hormone. While pottometer measures water uptake. Pottometer measures water uptake in plants. It measures water uptake in plants. While hydrometer measures liquid density. Hydrometer measures liquid density. So the correct answer is pottometer. Pottometer is used for measuring the rate of transpiration in plants, and it's also used for measuring water uptake in plants. So let's continue. Question 92. The surface where respiration occurs in mammal is dash. A. lungs, B. gills, C. alveoli, D. trachea. So trachea is just a passageway. We all know where trachea is located in our body system. It's just a passageway. While alveoli is the correct answer. Alveoli is the surface where gas exchange occurs. While gills, we all know what gills is. Gills is located in the fish, which aid respiration in the fish. While lungs is an organ where respiration occurs in human. So let's continue. Question 93. A total number of dash ATP molecules are formed when one molecule of glucose is completely oxidized. A. 30, B. 6, C. 38, D. 12. So what is the total number of ATP molecules that are formed when one molecule of glucose is completely oxidized? Let's start from option D. 30 is incorrect. While 38 is the total ATP formed from complete oxidation of glucose. So option C, 38, is the correct answer. While 6 is the total number of ATP formed from glycolysis only. This is the number of ATP formed from glycolysis, while this is the total number of ATP formed from glucose. While 30 is close to the number formed, but it's not the full count. So 30 is also wrong. So the correct answer is 38. So let's continue. Question 94. Dash regulate the opening and closing of stomata. Dash regulate the closing and opening of stomata. A. nucleus, B. guard cells, see xylem, the pericycle. So let's start from pericycle. I discussed that earlier. Is it not episode 3 or episode 4? You can go and watch the full video to know more about it. So pericycle aid in root movement, aids root development. That's what pericycle do. Why xylem? Xylem transport water. Why phloem, which is the opposite of xylem, it transport food around the plant system. I also discussed that earlier in our previous episode. Why guard cell is the opening and closing of stomata. What it does is that it opens and closes the stomata pores. So guard cell is the correct answer. Guard cell regulate the opening and closing of stomata. Option A, which is nucleus. We all know what nucleus is. As a science student, you should know the meaning of nucleus. Nucleus is the core center of the cell. It controls the cell. We can say it's also the control center of the cell. So let's continue. Question 95. The byproduct of photosynthesis is dash. A. Glucose, B. Oxygen, C. Water, D. Sunlight. So let's start from sunlight. What is sunlight? Sunlight is required during photosynthesis. It's required during photosynthesis. While water is used also during photosynthesis, but it's not produced. Water is not produced, not part of the byproduct. While option B, which is oxygen, is the released byproduct of photosynthesis. So option B is the correct answer. While glucose is the main product, but the byproduct is oxygen. Glucose is the main product. So the byproduct of photosynthesis in the option is oxygen. So guys, let's continue. Question 96. Oversecretion of growth hormone in child is called dash. A. Gigantism, B. Cretinism, C. Dwarfism, D. Albinism. So albinism is the lack of melanin. Lack of melanin. That's albinism, which is wrong. Dwarfism means undersecretion of growth hormone in child. So dwarfism is also wrong. So cretinism is caused due to low thyroid hormone. Due to low thyroid hormone. While gigantism is the correct answer. It causes abnormal growth. So the oversecretion of growth hormone in child is called gigantism. While the undersecretion of growth hormone in child is called what? Dwarfism. I'm explaining all these options. So once you meet any of these options while practicing or in your exam, you'll be able to understand it well, which will help you in eliminating your options. That's why I'm trying all my best to explain all these options. And if you are not subscribed to this moment, go and subscribe now. So let's continue. Question 97. The most important naturally occurring auxin is dash. A. IAA, I will explain that. B. Cytokinin. C. Ethylene. D. Gibberellin. So gibberellin stimulates plant growth. It stimulates plant growth, which is wrong. It's wrong. Ethylene ripens fruit. It ripens fruit. All this mango that is green, that will turn to yellow, which is ready for eating. It is the work of ethylene. All the fruit you eat, you know it's not always ripe before. It is ethylene that ripens it to be very good for eating. Why? Cytokinin promotes cell divisions. It promotes cell divisions. Why IAA? Now back to IAA. IAA is abbreviation. The full meaning is indole-3 acetic acid. Indole-3 acetic acid. I hope you guys have learned a new thing today. For those that don't know the meaning of IAA, IA is indole 3 acetic acid and is the most important naturally occurring auxin in plants. So all these are plant hormone. All of these options including indole 3 acetic acid, cytokinin, ethylene and gibberellin, all are plant hormone, but the most important naturally occurring auxin is IA, which is indole 3 acetic acid. So option A is the correct answer. Question 98. Dash connect the CNS to glands, smooth muscle and cardiac muscle. Dash connect the CNS to glands, smooth muscles and cardiac muscles. A. CNS, B. SNS, C. ANS, D. PNS. So I'm going to break all this one down. So let's start from PNS. PNS means peripheral nervous system. It connects the CNS to the rest of the body, which include the SNS and ANS. So the ANS is autonomic nervous system. It is the division of the PNS. I explained it, the division of the PNS that controls involuntary actions, which include heartbeat, digestion, and breathing rate. So the SNS is the somatic nervous system. It controls voluntary muscle movements such as touch, pain, and temperature. That's the work of the SNS. While the CNS is the control center for processing and sending out information. It coordinates the brain and spinal cord. So brain and spinal cord is under CNS. So what connects the CNS to glands, smooth muscle and cardiac muscle is the autonomic nervous system. So note that. And for those that don't know the meaning of this CNS, SNS, ANS, PNS, you can replay the video or pause it to have a better understanding of it. So let's continue. Question 99. The main receptive region of the neuron is dash. A. Myelin sheath, B. nerve cell, C. dendrite, D. axon. So let's start from option D. What's axon? Axon sends signal away to other cells, while dendrite receives signals. So we can say dendrite and axon is opposite to each other. Dendrite receives while axon sends. Nerve cell is the entire neuron. So another name for nerve cell is also neuron. While option A, the myelin sheath, is an insulation. So the main receptive region of the neuron is dendrite. I said the other time that dendrite receives. So the main receptive, and receptive also means to receive. So the main receptive region of the neuron is dendrite. If you have not subscribed to this moment, go and subscribe now. So once I drop episode 6 of biology series, you'll be able to be notified and you'll be the first person to watch the video. Question 100. Dash is responsible for transmission of impulse within the body. A. Neurons, B. axon terminal, C. cell body, D. nucleus. I discussed the meaning of nucleus. I said nucleus controls cell activity and it's also the control center of cell. Cell body is not the one responsible for transmission of impulse. The one responsible for transmission of impulse within the body is axon terminal. It sends impulse or signal to other cell. It transmits impulse within the body. Why we said it the other time, why dendrite receive impulse within the body. I hope you understand now. Neurons Neurons is not responsible. Neurons is also known as nerve cell. So if you watched this video to this moment, you've really tried. Don't forget to like this video, share and subscribe to Learn with Israel YouTube channel. And you can also share the video within your friends. You can share it to your friends and people that are in need of the video. See you in my next video.